Hello, my name is Stephen Law. I am the director of the Certificate of Higher Education program, and this session is going to introduce you to that program. We'll give you quite a bit of information, and there will be an opportunity to ask questions as we go along. So this is for September 2026 entry into the Cert HE program. So this session will be between 45 and 60 minutes. So this is who we have here. So I'm, as I've just said, I'm the course director. And then let me introduce you to the team. So we've got Gary, Dr. Gary Shaw, who is in charge of archaeology. Hello, Gary. Are you there? You going to say hi?
Yes, sorry, yes, I'm here.
I caught
Hello.
you off guard.
Not a problem.
And then we have Dr. excuse me, Dr. Jennifer Dunn, who's the subject area for English literature. Hello, Jen.
Hi, everyone. Nice to be here today.
And then we also have Dr. Nicholas Day, who is here to tell you a little bit about data science, which is a new pathway that we've added to the Cert HE just this year. So hi, Nick.
Hello, Stephen, and hello, everybody. It's my delight to be with you today.
Great. Now, moving on, I'm going to give you a kind of an overview of the course, filling in a little bit of detail about the nature of the course. First thing you need to know is that this is a part-time course that you complete between 2 and 4 years. It's up to you how quickly or slowly you go. You can't complete quicker than 2 years. You should not take more than 4 years unless there's some special reason. So sometimes we will grant people an extension and so on as a result of problems that they may have run into during the program. But officially, it's a 2 to 4 year window. And you study through short courses, online and in person. They are what's known as level 4 courses, so they are equivalent to first year undergraduate, and completion of the Cert HE is in effect equivalent to completion of the first year of an undergraduate degree. And as I mentioned earlier, this session is for those planning to start in September 2026. This course is for adult learners of any age worldwide. We have people who are just 18, and then we have people in their 80s studying with us, huge age range. You do not need any prior academic qualifications, so we will not be requiring that of you. You don't need to demonstrate that you have any particular qualification in order to successfully apply to the program. Having said that, we also admit people with all sorts of qualifications, including doctorates. So a wide range of backgrounds. Some people are academics, some people have not done any academic work since they were at school. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a genuine interest in the subjects that you propose to study, the main subject area, and then at least one other main subject area. And you need the free time to dedicate to your studies so that you can successfully complete within that 2 to 4 year period. So we're looking for enthusiasm and a genuine interest and a realistic grasp of what it is that you're undertaking, so you're confident, and we can be confident that you can complete within 2 to 4 years. You are, to a very large extent, are creating your own bespoke program by combining courses in different ways. It's up to you to a large extent. So there are short online courses which are flexible in the sense that you can study, you can engage with the course material at any point, at any time. So these courses are particularly useful for those, for example, that are somewhere else on the globe, in a different time zone perhaps. It doesn't matter what time zone you're in, you can access the course and engage with the material entirely, at a time to suit you. We also have short online courses that have a live component. So there is a particular time when you would need to log on, show up and engage. So those are also extremely popular. We now call those short online live courses. For those who are outside of the UK, inevitably the bulk of your learning experience will be through these online courses. But we do also run in-person weekly classes. So just this term, for example, I'm teaching two 10-week courses, 2 hours a week. That's scheduled in Oxford, physically in Oxford. So you would need to be either based in Oxford or in the vicinity. So we have people coming from London, for example, to attend these in-person weekly classes. So that's an option for those of you that are living not too in Oxford or not too far away. And then we also have the Oxford University Summer School for Adults, or USA, which you can attend for 5, I think sometimes now 6 weeks over the summer, July, August period. You can attend for 1 week, you can attend for more than 1 week, it's up to you. That involves you physically coming to Oxford, residing in Oxford for 1 week, and taking a course in person with us. So you can build up your CATS points, which I'll talk to you a little bit about in a minute, but the credit, you can build up the credit from these courses by combining all of these different courses in any way you see fit. With one important caveat, Oxford University will not provide an award bearing a course with an award at the end of it, unless you have attended at least one course in person. That's an Oxford requirement. We're bound by that. So we would require you to attend at least one of the courses that you take in person. Now, for those that live in Oxford, obviously that could just be an in-person course, 10-week course for a term. But for those living outside of Oxford, the most popular option here is to take at least one summer school. So you come to Oxford in the summer, and it can be at any time. It could be in your first year, it can be in your last year, it can be in your main subject area, it can be in some other subject area. It just needs to be an accredited USA course that you take for credit. And that would tick the box so far as the face-to-face requirement, the in-person requirement is concerned. So do be aware that you will need to physically be present in Oxford for a course. How quickly or slowly you progress is largely up to you. Most students will take 1 or 2 courses at a time, in a term. If you take 2 courses at a time, you could complete in just 2 years. If you take 1 course at a time, you'll end up completing within 4 years. We have people that do complete in 2 years, but more usually people complete in 3, sometimes 4 years. You get to choose what you study. You choose a main subject area from one of the main areas that we offer, with which I'm sure you're already familiar. You then take 60 to 80 CATS points, basically 6 to 8 courses in your main subject area. And you can choose which courses you take, with one exception, that you do need to take the core course, the introductory course, in your first year. So, for example, in philosophy, you need to take the Introduction to Philosophy course, which is an online course. All of the introductory core courses are online. You can take that in your first year. You need to take that in your first year. And you also do need to take what's known as the academic literacy course, which gets you up to speed on the kind of skills that you're going to need successfully to complete the Cert HE. Those that have an academic background and are currently working perhaps in academia, you might think, well, I don't really need to do that, but it is a requirement. And in fact, we find that pretty much everyone gains quite a bit from taking the academic literacy course. And of course, if you haven't been doing anything very academic for many years, perhaps since you've left school, then it's a particularly valuable course for you to do. So you are required to complete successfully the academic literacy course and the introductory course in your chosen subject. You can then take courses, well, you're required to take courses outside of your main subject area, 60 to 80 CATS points in your main subject area. The rest of the 120 CATS points, you can do one or more subject areas. You can do a whole range of them, doesn't matter, or you can just focus on one other subject area, entirely up to you. So these are the main subject areas. We have archaeology, we have architectural history, art history, creative writing, data science, new edition, English literature, history, philosophy, my subject area, political economy. So you're going to be taking, as I say, 6 to 8 courses in your main subject area, and then you gain credit from at least one other subject area, 30 to 50 CATS points, looking outside of your main subject area. So it's got a kind of liberal arts flavour to it, this particular programme. You can focus in on one particular, well, you're required to focus in on one particular subject area, but you're also required to branch out a little bit and explore some other subjects. You need to acquire a total of 120 CATS points in order successfully to complete the Cert HE. So basically 12 courses. You need to successfully complete 12 courses, 10 CATS points per course typically. So let's have a look at some of these subjects in more depth. We are lucky enough to have some of the assessors, as they're known, with us. So the assessors are the subject area specialists. And so for archaeology, I'm going to hand over briefly to Gary Shaw, who can tell you a little bit about that main subject area. Gary.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yes, hello everybody. I'm Dr. Gary Shaw, and I'm, as Stephen says, the assessor for archaeology. So I just want to spend just a few minutes really just to talk about the archaeology courses available and the additional assignments which form a very important part of the certificate and the ones that students have written in recent years to inspire you, and to give you a bit of a feeling for what we do on the archaeology side here. So first of all, as you've learned, there is always a compulsory course that forms part of the certificate. And so for archaeology, this is archaeology in practice. So this is important not just because it's compulsory, but also because it basically introduces you to the methods and techniques of archaeological inquiry, really, just going from the initial site surveys and excavation all the way through to scientific analysis. So these new scientific methods that can let us really delve a lot deeper into the objects and sites these days, thanks to this technology. So this intro also provides you with a background to archaeology itself, the evolution of the discipline, so how it's changed over the years and where we are now with it. So this is one of these short, online, flexible courses, which basically means there's no live element to it. But it's basically there to give you a sort of grounding, to start you thinking about archaeology more deeply as you start heading forwards through the certificate. So that's a compulsory part. It's important, but it is flexible online. Of course, on top of that, there are plenty of other archaeology courses that are available to students, and these span, there's a great variety there, spanning the world of archaeology, but also time periods and all sorts of different cultures as well. So, for example, if you wanted to take one of the flexible online courses, the ones that have no live element to it, and you're interested in ancient Egypt, there is the option Ancient Egypt, an introduction. And so this one will take students through Egyptian history, religion, art, afterlife beliefs, daily life. And so you get to learn a bit about mummies, pyramids, the Valley of the Kings, and all of these things. And so by the end of it, you should have a really great understanding of all things ancient Egypt. But maybe after that you might want to learn about other ancient civilizations too from almost the same time. So maybe you want to look at ancient Mesopotamia and the Sumerians. This is also just another one of these flexible short online courses, so very free. But if that's not for you, there's all sorts of other things too. Vikings, ritual and religion in prehistory. Maybe you're interested in Greek mythology or the fall of Rome, etc. So there's lots of these flexible online courses for you. But if you want to have a live element as well, there are also short courses on that as well. So currently, right now, we have, for example, ones on prehistoric art and ancient India. So these are the ones that have this sort of live element to them. And if you're in Oxford itself, well, yeah, there's also courses for you too. The weekly in-person classes, such as ones about Roman Britain or even Iron Age hill forts in the UK. So you can see that the offer here is very wide-ranging, lots of cultures, times, places to explore, but also there's a variety of ways for you to study as well. So there's lots of options. Now, as Stephen said, I am the archaeology assessor, and basically my main interaction with you, if you join the certificate, is with the three additional assignments. And this is a major part of the certificate and are triggered when you reach certain CATS points. But the main exciting thing I think for you here is that the topic, the research question, is all basically up to you. You choose this. This is something you're fascinated by. And now, of course, part of my job here is to advise you. I'll help you shape the research question, discuss the best approaches and structure and all of this type of thing. But in the end, this should be a topic that really excites you. It's something that's yours, and it should make you want to learn more. It should be a subject that you really want to investigate deeper. And so this is this great chance to do this. You get three of these assignments to do over the course, and because of this freedom, there's a lot of really exciting topics that other students who have been on certificate recently have studied. For example, a few people recently have been interested in the early migration to the Americas. This is a bit of a big topic in archaeology, particularly when this happened and the routes that were taken to the Americas in the first place by the very first humans who went there. And so this is exciting. It's a piece of ongoing research. There's lots of debate academically, new findings appearing all the time, and there's a big topic there to analyze for you, looking at the existing theories and how the latest evidence has been challenging this. So that's just one example there of something that has been written about by students. But other topics have come up a lot too recently. Anglo-Saxon migration, for example, to Britain has been a big topic. And this is one that's got another great question at the heart of it, the idea of archaeological evidence, scientific methods through that, and how they basically currently contradict what the literary sources were saying. And it was the literary sources that talked about this being an invasion, and that was what history was for a long time. This was an invasion. But archaeology, and particularly scientific methods like genetic studies, have now been putting a whole new different angle on this. So it's it's an exciting area to be studying. But there's other topics too. I think of some of the other students that I've had recently, some of them been looking at the alignments of prehistoric temples in Malta, or the spread of disease along the Silk Road, or prehistoric temples in Turkey as well. So there's this whole array of the world of archaeology for you to investigate. But as I say, the main thing is that you find topics that intrigue you, see what the major questions are on that topic and what you'd like to investigate, and then I help you shape this into the best it can be through discussions, an hour-long discussion online, for example, like we're doing now, and via email too. And just as a quick final thought too, as we see on the slide here, there are other subjects within the certificate that complement this area. I guess for the courses that are not archaeology that you have to take as well. And again, there's a whole range of things you can do here, but popular complementary areas include history, art history, religious studies here. So, that means that if you're interested in Italian Renaissance art or the Impressionists or philosophy of religion or biblical studies, there's something for you, a course for you. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say. So thanks for listening, and I'll pass you back to Stephen now.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, moving on, the next subject area we're going to focus on is English literature, and we're lucky enough to have the assessor for that subject, Dr. Jennifer Dunn, with us. So, Jennifer, can I hand over to you?
Yes, hello everyone. So again, I'm Dr. Jen Dunn. I am the assessor in English literature for the certificate, and I am also a departmental tutor here at Oxford Lifelong Learning. So I'm just going to talk for a few minutes today about all of the things you can do on the English literature pathway on the certificate. Stephen described this as a bespoke course, and what's really exciting about that within this subject is that we offer a wide variety of not only types of courses, different ways to study online, in person, and so on, but also a wide variety of topics. So our literature courses cover a wide historical range. You can study anything from Old English literature all the way up to contemporary writing and modern day literary theory, which is still evolving all of the time. So you can get this broad spectrum across your studies. And then some of our courses are very broad in scope. So, for example, you might study an entire literary era in which you are looking at several writers at one time, or you might be studying something that's even more specific in depth. For example, our critical reading course, which is the foundational course for this subject, gives you skills and teaches you how to do close reading. So you're looking really closely at particular texts, and then you will apply those skills and develop a critical toolbox that you would use across your studies. We have other courses that cover just one author. So say you're particularly interested in Jane Austen, well, we have an online course that lets you look just at Jane Austen's novels in depth. And some of our courses are also interdisciplinary. So recently we had a course that was about Kafka's writing and philosophy. We have one coming up on the summer school this year that is about the critical study of poetry, but also how to write poetry. And that is actually co-taught by one of our lecturers in English literature and one of our lecturers in creative writing. So because of the wide scope of courses and topics that we offer, this means that you have a lot of choices and inspiration for your additional assignments, which Gary has just spoken about. And this is an important part of your certificate studies. And you would be working with me along the way. And these are an opportunity to do some independent study and research with academic support, but also to really explore your own personal interests. So to give you some examples of recent topics for additional assignments, one student took the Bronte's course that we offer, and this touched on Emily Bronte's poetry, but mostly focused on the Bronte sisters' novels. And this student really wanted to learn more about Emily Bronte. So she took that course as inspiration for an additional assignment and ended up looking all the way back at Emily Bronte's juvenilia, the writings from her childhood, and tracing themes and styles from those early writings through Emily Bronte's poetry, and in fact, all the way up to Bronte's novel, Wuthering Heights. So that was a way for that student to really take a deep dive into a particular topic and do some independent study on it. You might also be interested in combining your literary studies with the secondary subject. So recently, one student had taken a course on the history of magic outside of her literature specialty and had also been studying Shakespeare within the literature pathway. And so she looked at historical writings on magic and witchcraft and then used that as a lens to study the characterization of Lady Macbeth in Shakespeare's play Macbeth, and had a lot of fun exploring that in real depth. So those are just two examples of topics that you might devise and research for your additional assignments. And if you take a look at the slide on the screen, that lists some secondary subjects that work really well with literary studies. So creative writing, of course, naturally relates to literary studies. Philosophy, we've had students that have combined their courses in philosophy with courses in literature to write additional assignments, and then history, of course, which would let you look at the context of the literature that you're studying. But likewise, it's equally possible to combine your studies in literature with studies in architectural history, art history, and political economy. So maybe you want to look at movements across the arts, for example. So those are just a few things you can do within the literature pathway. All right, I think that's everything that I wanted to say.
Thank you. Yeah, I managed to move the slide by accident there. Sorry. So thank you, Jennifer. We're also lucky enough to have Nick Day, who can talk to us about data science. So Nick, are you present?
I am Stephen, and thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Nicholas Day. I'm a departmental lecturer here at Oxford Lifelong Learning. I get involved with pedagogical research, that's my research background, but I also teach on a number of courses that we offer here at the department. Specialism is in Python courses, so I teach the Python programming for data science and also the machine learning and artificial intelligence in Python as well. And as Stephen says, we're delighted that from next academic year, we're offering the opportunity for students to gain a certificate from the types of courses that we take. So I'll be acting as an assessor for this data science pathway, guiding you through all the assessments. As have been mentioned, that will be coming up, and you may even take one of the courses that I teach through the certificate as well. So let me start by telling you a little bit more about the core module that you have to take with this pathway. So that's an introductory course. It's pitched for people who haven't got programming experience. Obviously, if you do have programming experience, that will be a great benefit to you, because we do offer quite a lot of courses under the coding realm, coding domains, so you may wish to specialize in that. But this particular module doesn't involve too much coding, so it's a good place to start. It will cover all the fundamentals to do with how one works with big data. And by big data, we really mean the volume of data that's being produced in all digital domains on a daily basis. It'll talk you through how to organize and structure that data so it can then be analyzed through the structured processes of data science. We'll also bring in a neighbouring field of artificial intelligence, and indeed you may wish to select a number of the artificial intelligence courses that we offer that go into further depth regarding that. Neural networks, transformers, etc., all the large language models that we see, ChatGPT and the like, that have become so prevalent in today's age. This course provides an introduction to that, which you could then go on to explore further. As well as covering Black Swan events. By Black Swan events, we might include things like the pandemic, once in 100-year events that happen unexpectedly. And indeed, we've got a course on pandemic data science. So if you want to expand on that and take that even further, that's a natural follow-on to explore that. So yeah, this introductory model provides a good grounding from which then to go on to select specific courses in whichever strand of data science you're aiming to specialize in. And I would say there are probably at least three, and people argue exactly how many there are. There's lots of models out there, but say at least three strands that you could go on to specialize in, such as the mathematics, the statistics that underpins quite a lot of these models in data science and AI. And indeed, we're lucky enough to have Tom Crawford, or you may know him by his YouTube alias of Tom Rocks Maths, who teaches on some of these courses that we have in calculus. He has two courses there for an introduction level and an intermediate level. And we also offer linear algebra as well, and indeed the core statistics for data science that you'll need there. So there's definitely the statistics strands of data science, and then you may also want to take courses from the coding group, and you may well meet me on that because I teach on the Python ones. There's also R and C++ as well as popular languages to explore there. So we have a range of courses on that. And then the natural neighboring courses would be the business domain itself. So that's the third strand, the chance to actually apply these ideas in a given sector. And we've listed some here, the complementary subjects such as economics, computing, mathematics, obviously, but you can think of pretty much any domain that has data, that records data in some format. You can apply these structured techniques to that. So we're delighted to be able to offer this for the first time in 26-27. So hopefully that gives you a little overview of the certificate and this pathway. So I think I'll stop there. So Stephen, I think I'm passing back to you.
You are, yes, great. Thank you very much for that. So yes, so back now to me. Let me just say that, of course, we have 9 main subject areas, so we have 9 assessors, but you're only hearing from 3 of them today. The assessor is a very important person in terms of the CertHE. It's the person with whom you will be working one-to-one on your 3 additional assignments. So my view is that really what marks out this particular certificate of higher education, the one that we run, from all of the competitors, is that it involves this one-to-one component. So you're getting an Oxbridge style experience, if you like, of interacting with a subject area specialist working on your 3 additional assignments. So I'm going to move on now to a little bit more information. Assessment and tutorials. So you will be assessed through coursework as part of your chosen modules, plus the 3 additional written assignments. So each course that you take for credit, there's a piece of coursework that's required of you. It's marked as pass-fail. So you need to pass the modules that you take. But then there are these 3 additional written assignments that you'll be working on with your subject area specialist. 2 are 2,500 words and 1 is 3,500 words. And they come due at certain trigger points as you progress through the Cert HE. The first one is 70 CATS points, then 100 CATS points, then 120 CATS points, if I've remembered correctly. So as you progress through the modules, you're also going to be working on these additional written assignments. So tutorials, tutor contact for each module you complete is obviously going to be available to you. You will have contact with a tutor for your module. You also get one-to-one engagement with your main subject area assessor for each of your 3 additional assignments. So that would be 1 hour long or 2 30-minute tutorials per assignment. So that will give you an opportunity to talk to the subject area specialist, think about exactly what it is that you want to research and write on, get some guidance in terms of what you should be reading and so on. And you also, in addition, get 2 personal academic development tutorials with your main subject area assessor. So the main subject area assessor, we've heard from 2 of them today, 3 of them today. They're particularly important point of contact for you as you progress through the certificate. Whilst enrolled, you can make the most of Oxford University facilities, including the library, the Bodleian libraries, which you can access both in person if you're lucky enough to be in Oxford, or you can access them online, and you will be given detailed information on exactly how to do that. You will be talked through exactly how to access those library facilities at the beginning of your first year with an online session. Your Oxford University card will get you access into a number of facilities, including many colleges and events. And then finally, on successful completion of the course, you will be invited to the one of the annual award ceremonies held at Oxford's Sheldonian Theatre, a very grand building built by Christopher Wren, designed by Christopher Wren, and it's the building in which all of the awards are given. So undergraduate degrees, doctorates and so on. Your award will also be awarded to you, if you choose, at the Oxford University Sheldonian Theatre. And there will be a reception after too, which you can attend. This is the first application deadline, Thursday, 12th of February 2026. There is a second application deadline a bit later on, so it's not the end of the world if you don't meet that one. If you wish to be considered in the first round of interviews, get your application in by the 12th of February. Preparing your application, you need to provide a written statement of 400 words explaining exactly why you wish to study your main subject area. And you need to submit a piece of written work, 1,000 words, roughly speaking, with plus or minus 10%, relative to the main subject area that you're choosing for the program. And do please then provide contact details for 1 referee too. Could be an academic referee, but it doesn't have to be. It could be somebody that, a colleague, somebody that's employed you, somebody that can speak to your commitment and your ability and motivation and so on. And if there's a question mark about English being your first language, then you may be required to demonstrate that you have the relevant ability in English, proof of English language ability. For more information, you can go to our website. There's a lot of information on that website on the CERT-HE. Most of the questions that might occur to you about the CERT-HE are actually answered on the website, so it's well worth having a look at that. You can also contact us via the email address certhe@conted.ox.ac.uk. So now we have an opportunity for you to ask us questions. I'm hoping that some of you have typed questions in to. So Jenny, are you there?
I am here, yes. So one question for you, Stephen. Is
Mhm.
there a minimum age for taking these courses?
Is there an age? Sorry, was there a
Is there a minimum age for taking?
minimum age? Yes. So they are for adults. We're providing a service for adults. So yes, so you need to be 18 or older.
Another question, does the final certificate state Certificate of Higher Education specific pathway or only Certificate of Higher Education?
I believe it states the specific. I can't remember off the top of my head, but pretty sure it states the specific pathway. Christina may wish to confirm that, but I believe it.
It will say their certificate of higher education in philosophy or in English literature.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yes, and in fact, we have people that love the CERT-HE so much that they take the CERT-HE in one subject area and then they do it again, but in a different subject area. So they have two certificates, one in focused on archaeology, say, and one focused in philosophy, for example. Yeah, thank you. Next question.
Great. So this one might be for you, Stephen, as well as Nick. I have a Cambridge psychology degree. Is it worth me doing the data science course, or will it not add to my academic qualifications?
I might leave Nick to answer that one.
Okay, Stephen. Yes, thank you, Lauren, for the question. Fantastic, you got a degree already. Obviously, this certificate, it will be at level 4, so it's assessed at the first year. So it won't be equivalent to a degree, but is an opportunity if you haven't studied data science before. Potentially, you might have done R. That's probably taken over from SPSS these days. I did SPSS back in the day for research methods, so maybe that's taken over. You might already have some experience in R. But there's an opportunity, if you haven't, to look at that in your chosen domain. If you have any further research interests, obviously it's an opportunity to advance those with us. So, yeah.
Great, thanks.
Great. Another question. Do you need to apply for the certificate before starting to take some of the courses? For example, could someone start by just taking the Intro to Data Science course in April, and once you know if you like it, then get on with the form of delivery of courses, and then apply when ready to make the commitment to the certificate?
Yes, you could do that. So you can import credit from courses taken before you're registered on the CERT-HE. You can import up to 30 CATS points, so that's 3 courses worth, if that credit is obtained within the preceding 4 years prior to your being registered. So there's the option of taking a course now and then importing the credit that you've obtained, the CATS points. You have to take the course for credit, obviously. Then importing the credit into the program once you've been accepted onto it, if you're applied successfully. There is one thing that I need to clarify though, which is that if you take the summer school this summer, you can import the credit into the following year, but you won't be meeting the face-to-face requirement. That has to be met while you're actually registered on the CERT-HE. So you can import the credit, but you can't kind of import the face-to-face requirement. You need to be physically present in Oxford for one course, very often it's a summer school, while you are actually registered as a student on the CERT-HE.
Right, and I think a few people might be curious about the answer to this question. Can I choose introductory courses from two different areas, like data science and English literature at a time?
Yes, you can feel free to branch out and explore some other subject areas by taking the core module for some other subject area. That would be fine. You could do that even in your first year. Yeah, potentially.
Possibly a question for Gary. Is there a practical dig on the archaeology pathway?
Ah,
Hi.
okay.
So, no, the answer is there is not. But we do have students often who search for volunteer positions or, around them locally to get some practical experience themselves. So that's great if they can organize that. And sometimes if I get information sent to me via, dig directors, I will share it with the students. But these are not official parts of the course or the certificate, so there's no practical element involved as part of the certificate itself. So I think that should answer it, yes.
Great, thank you, Gary. Another question about the level of the courses. How rigorous are the courses? Are they challenging? If I already have an MA, but in a different subject area, for example.
Yes, no, I think that would be they would be entirely appropriate. So they are rigorous. They are examined scrupulously, and we have external examiners from other institutions who come in and check that we are examining to an appropriate standard. And in fact, we get very positive feedback from our external examiners on the quality of the courses and the rigor with which they are conducted and assessed. If you're an expert in, I don't know, philosophy, which is my subject area, if I were to go and take one of the modules in creative writing or architectural history or whatever it might happen to be, the course would be very suitable for me, despite the fact that I've already got a PhD, because this would be a new subject area for me. This is undergraduate first year equivalent, and that would be very often appropriate for somebody that's fairly new to the subject, even if they happen to hold a graduate degree in some other subject area.
All right, another question about the writing sample for the application. Are citations expected, and if so, which citation model is required?
I think, well, so it would partly depend on exactly what you chose to write about. But if you were drawing on, for example, some academic resources, then you really ought to probably cite them. And I think we use the Harvard method. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's any particular version of that, but Christina, that they have to follow. But yeah, citations would be appropriate. Not like pages of citations, but references to 2 or 3 things that you've read, that would be entirely appropriate. Yeah.
How many spots are available each year for the certificate program?
Okay. Well, officially, we're capped at 90. We have exceeded that recently. And so yeah, so that's the number. It would be in the region of 90 to 100 students would be accepted onto the Cert AG in this coming year, is what I would anticipate.
Great. Okay, another question, possibly for Nick. Is data science and extra modules equivalent to first-year computer science degree?
Steve, you happy for me to answer this one?
Yeah.
Yes, regarding the computer science, well, we certainly cover the programming aspect of that, as well as the introductory maths content. Possibly some subjects that wouldn't be covered would be things like operating systems, compilation. You would get a little bit of compilation if you did the C++ course. But it does steer more towards the data science, focus on that rather than the core computer science concepts. They will pop up in the various programming courses that we have, but it would certainly go some way towards being the half of the first year of computer science, but not the full year.
Great, thank you, Nick. So here's another question, I think, for Stephen about the timeline of the short courses. So this is someone who took a short course with Oxford in the past. and was unable to complete because the deadline was short during busy work periods. So the question is, will the course timelines be reviewed?
There's no plan to review the timelines currently, no. Short, sweet answer from me. Yeah.
Another question about the application process. So what is the process? Is it just one interview or more than one? And how soon after interview will you confirm the decision?
Good question. Yes. So these interviews will happen fairly shortly after the first deadline. So, in February, March, beginning of March. I think most of the dates that I've just written down as possibles most of them were in February. So fairly soon after the deadline, we'll arrange a time to suit you and us for interview. The interview will take place online, and I will be present, and so will the subject area specialist. So there will be two people who will interview you. It's a short and fairly friendly and informal interview. Sorry, my phone just went off. And it just gives us an opportunity really to ask you a few questions, make sure that you really understand what it is that you're taking on, maybe have a chat to you about the subject area and what you've written about it in your submitted piece of work. But it also gives us an opportunity for us an opportunity to hear questions from you. So you can ask us questions. You don't have to ask a question. You're not going to be marked down if you don't ask a question. But it's an opportunity for you to grill us a little bit if you wish on the Cert and find out a little bit more about it to make sure it suits you. So it's friendly, it's informal. It'll be the two of us, myself and the relevant subject area specialist, and it will take place not very long after the first deadline.
So another question here about data science, Nick. Is the data science and computer science course beginner friendly? For example, if you don't have any coding experience and very elementary math proficiency.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for that. So the perfect course to take is the Data Science Introduction, which is our core module on the course, and that doesn't require students to have any programming experience. I think it has a very light introduction to programming during that module. So that's a perfect way just to get acquainted with the core themes of the data science as subject discipline. And then, of course, to then go on, I'd probably advise going on to an introductory level programming course. Potentially the Python one, which I teach, is a popular one to start with, just to get up to scratch with the basics of coding. So yeah, it certainly shouldn't be a barrier, but is an advantage if you were to come in with programming experience.
And another question, I think, for you, Stephen. Are diploma courses offered online?
Yes, there are all sorts of courses that you can take with the Department of Lifelong Learning, and there are diploma courses in various subject areas. Unfortunately, not mine, philosophy, but yeah, go online and explore the website, the Department of Continuing Education, now known as Lifelong Learning, and you will see there are all sorts of courses other than the Cert HE that you might be interested in taking.
Another question about application, but it might be useful for everyone to hear the answer. So I am a TEFL teacher at an international education group. Do I still have to take the English language proficiency test?
Good question. Now, well, it says here Christina our administrator is typing an answer to that. I think the answer is that it will probably be waived under those circumstances.
Yes, I just wanted to jump in. I do apologize. We do have an English language waiver for people who are fluent in English. So this person's question is excellent. And she needs to put that on her application, though, that you wish to have a waiver. That's really, really important for us. But yes, waivers are available. You do not have to take the test if you are fluent.
Yes, and of course, if you're interviewed, you will be able to demonstrate your fluency in the English language to us so that we can confirm that indeed, there is no problem and you do not need to prove that you are competent. Yeah.
Right, and we're just waiting for any other questions to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Great. This is a good question for you, Stephen. Is there a designated pathway for certificate students to go on to a diploma and a degree?
It's going to depend on the subject area. So in philosophy, there is nowhere to go within our department, actually. But you could, of course, pursue a diploma and then a degree somewhere else at some other institution. On the other hand, there are plenty of subject areas within which you can progress. You can take a diploma. There are even some postgraduate qualifications that you can take. So the thing to do is to go and look at the website and look at the courses that are available at different levels, and then you'll be able to see how you might potentially progress. What's not true is that there's automatic entry onto the, as it were, the next rung of the ladder. You would need to apply and you would need to demonstrate, and it could be, in some cases it might be quite competitive. So there's no automatic progression.
How much weight is given to academic transcripts in the admissions process?
Uh, how much? I don't, it's hard to put a number on it. I would say that many people applying don't really have an academic background. They may not have any academic qualifications, and so the academic transcript simply not relevant. We will be having a conversation with them. We will be making an assessment about their motivation and their capability on that basis, nothing to do with the transcript. However, if you've got lots of qualifications, we'll certainly be looking at the transcript, and that will give us an indication of the fact, whether you're clearly capable of completing an academic qualification of this sort, because you've already done it several times, perhaps. So we pay attention to that, but it's not absolutely essential. If you've not got any academic qualifications, don't worry, that's fine. I should perhaps mention that I am myself a product of continuing education. I left school without A levels. I worked as a postman actually for 4 years before I discovered philosophy, and then I applied to get into university as a mature student. So, and luckily, there was an institution that was prepared to accept me without any academic qualifications, just on the basis of an interview. And that's what we're doing here. We're giving people the opportunity to enter into this world of academia and study at the University of Oxford, despite the fact that, this is something that is really quite alien to you, and that you're very worried about, perhaps because this is a whole new world so far as you're concerned. But we have lots of people like that from that kind of background, and they go on to do very well. So let me just stop there. Next question, if there is one.
Sure. Another one about data science. So this is from someone who's finishing a PhD this year in political science and would like to do the certificate course in data science next year. Is that okay? And then she's written, I use R. Would I be able to do the political economy suite of modules as a mix and match attached to the data science certificate?
Yes, I presume that is the intention to run the certificate for 27, 28. I can't see any reason why we wouldn't do that. Using R, that's great. You got experience with R. And regarding the mix and match, yes, I believe that's very much the point, isn't it? To take, I believe it's our core module and 5 others, probably somewhere in the region of 60 to 80 credits. And then within data science, and then the remaining credits of courses of your choice. So that sounds like the perfect match to match those with other political economics courses.
Great, thanks, Nick. Another question for Stephen about referees. I'm actually combining 2 questions here. Are there any restrictions on who and who can't be a referee? And then will the referee be given questions to answer?
No restrictions other than if you've done courses with us and your tutor is you've had a tutor, possibly even one of our assessors, teaching you previously, then you can't use them, is the rule. But other than that, there are no restrictions on who you could use as a referee. It could be an academic, but it needn't be an academic. When I applied actually to university without A-levels and so on, I did have referees, but they were people that simply knew me and could talk about me and my motivation and, you know, how excited I was about the subject area, and could say a little bit about my motivation and also my ability. That's fine. That would be a good and helpful reference. We just need the one referee. I know that on the form it says there's room to enter 3. We're just looking for 1, by the way.
Sorry, Stephen, can I add, please? Because I deal with references and applications, right? And we receive a lot of applications when the referee says, I'm a friend and blah, blah, blah. So please make sure that your referee doesn't say that they're a friend or family, because we won't be able to accept those.
Oh, okay.
So if they can comment, if it's someone that you know and they can comment on your academic ability, it's absolutely fine. But please make sure they don't say that they are your friends. And I get lots of questions about references, because there are 3 references are required on the application form. And just please use 2 dummy emails for the other 2. So one should be the real email of the real person, and the other 2 can be just a referee 1, referee 2, add content, etc. So please don't worry about the other 2. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria. Yeah, so I should have said, so not friends and family, but yes, otherwise it doesn't have to be an academic, just somebody that knows you, that can talk authoritatively about you. Yeah.
Do we have time for one more question?
Yeah, why not?
Great. It's about the availability of courses. So is there a way to see which of the mix and match courses are reliably likely to be offered within the next 2 to 3 years?
We don't plot them out in advance so that you can see what's going to be available 2 years down the line in terms of courses which are live, for example. I mean, you know that the short online asynchronous courses, they will repeat reliably. But other courses, there's no guarantee, although very often they do repeat. There's no guarantee that you're going to get a repeat. The fact that a particular course crops up in one summer school this year doesn't mean that it's going to crop up in the following year. In fact, it may very well not. So you do need to kind of grab courses as they become available. Don't think that, oh, I'll do that next year, because depending on the nature of the course, it may not be available next year. So I think that's probably it in terms of our timing. So time's up. Thank you very much for joining us and finding out more about the Cert HE. I very much hope that you will consider applying, and if you do apply, I very much look forward to actually meeting you online for an interview along with the relevant assessor. Thank you again. If you are applying, good luck, and we'll say goodbye now. In the meantime, you can, if you wish, email questions to us, but as I said, please check the website carefully before you start emailing questions, because it may be that the question can be answered just by having a look at the website. So do please do that. Otherwise, great to meet you all. Thank you very much, and have a great day.